Evening, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're good,
Yeah,
man. You sound good.
Sound, man. You guys all good?
Yeah. How you
good,
doing?
man. How are you?
All good, man. All good, man. I'm just outside the gym at the moment. It's freezing cold, but all good, all good.
I just I want to touch on first things first with obviously Tysie, obviously massive fight in France, world title fight. How did the week go, and what was your experience like being there and with her?
It was, you know what? It was a great experience for all of us, really, and obviously Tysie. Obviously we went out there to win the fight. There's no doubt about that, and we tried our best. And I think in our eyes, in most people's eyes, we won the fight. But as an overall experience, it was great for her development as a boxer, and I think she'll only get bigger and better and stronger and more defiant from it. I think, so overall, it was all good.
Did she box to the game plan? Like, is everything you saw her doing, was that everything you'd planned?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said to her, like as soon as the last bell went, I said I couldn't have asked you to do any more. To be honest, like everything we tried to do, we did. We tried to be on the front foot, and we were trying to. We knew there were going to be rounds in the fight that were going to be tricky, but we needed to start fast, and we started fast. We knew that she didn't like pressure, and we knew we'd get hit some points in the fight because of the tactics. We knew we'd get caught at some points, but we also knew that we had to either knock her down, knock her out, or win every round convincingly, which is very hard against a world champion. So we knew we was up against it regarding the judges, but we gave it a good shot.
Was she better than you thought?
No, I don't think so.
Oh no.
I think we studied her enough to kind of know exactly what we was getting in with.
Right.
But the first couple of rounds are you've got to be very careful because sometimes they might do something very different to what we kind of are expecting. She had no knockouts on her record, but that doesn't mean she can't hit. So we are very conscious of that during that. But once we were, to be honest, Tysie started very faster than we even anticipated. I think like we caught her, the girl, very early on, and she heard me say, "Look, and again, let's go." Like, and she did it, and it was like, oh, okay, like we found it a little bit easier to hit the girl than we thought we would. Yeah, and I thought the fight went exactly how we kind of planned it to go, to be honest. We thought we'd win. We're going to win every round, going to try to. And if we can come out with 6 or 7 of those rounds, happy days. And that's kind of what we did. Well, that's what we did, in my eyes, anyway.
What was the actual week like? Because I see Tysie spoke to us straight after, and she said a few things went on during the week. Like it was sort of like they were trying to. She didn't go into anything. I don't know if you can go into anything, but were they trying to play any little mind games like that?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think there was a few things like whether that I think they had 2 people there, Tysie and myself, who were very laid back, very much true professionals. Like we train hard, we do our thing, we don't let anything get to us. And they cut the things they tried, yeah. And there's a couple of things that just happened. Like obviously they can't be blamed for the Eurostar being cancelled on the way out there, Drew.
Oh, did the Eurostar get cancelled?
Well, just from the date that we literally got to St Pancras, and from the off, it was like, okay, this is like that. So that got cancelled. We got to the hotel late. We got to the hotel. They said, we don't have a room for you. Was like, you create what you're talking about. What? So they stuck us in a hostel across the road, which was the most bizarre place I've ever stayed in. And we looked at each other and was like, well, it is what it is, Jarena, and we just got on with it. And from that, and then the next morning they banged on our door and told us we had to go and do a blood test at 9 a.m. at a clinic up the road. And I was like, that's bullshit, because we've done all our medicals. And they were like, no, you have to do it. I was like, okay, fine. So we had to go and do that. And it just seemed like there was, and then the weigh-in was at 6 p.m, which is crazy. Professional boxing, it's like, you guys obviously a lot about making weight and whatnot, and making weight is tough. And normally the weigh-in's about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. To make it at 6 p.m. is like utterly crazy, like doing that. But and then the scales were all off, but she came in really light, like literally like a kilo under, and we came in half a pound heavier. And it was like, well, hang on, the scales are a bit dodgy. And Anyway, we know
That
what?
sounds
I didn't let
ruthless.
it to me. I didn't let Tysie. She didn't get it to her, and we got in there and did our thing anyway. With nothing changed, we boxed exactly how we planned to box, and it didn't affect us or nothing like that to me. So it was all good. It was all good in the end.
The dirty French up to their old tricks, man.
Yeah.
The snail eaters trying to get one up. Any advantage, man.
Yeah. But Joe, what was funny as well at the weigh-in, when we was watching her fights, all her fights were in our hometown, like all of them. And we was watching the crowd, and we were going, it's very subdued. The crowd really subdued, like, and if you watch a lot of French fights, they're very kind of polite. So they sit there very politely applauding and whatnot. I'm like, this isn't like London or the UK, do you know what I mean? Like, where it's like a football match and it's all on, do you know what I mean? So I said to her, look, when we go to the weigh-in, it was all very polite. Everyone was like, she gave us a gift at the weigh-in, right? And I said, listen, when we get on those scales and you go head to head, just walk up to her and tell her you're gonna fucking knock her out. And she didn't have to be asked twice. She went, no problem, and just went straight up to her. And I think that set the tone, because she looked at Tysie to say, oh shit, this girl's come to fight, and so I think that was a point where that girl realized, okay, this is on, like, so.
Yeah, sort of like to try and unsettle her, because she's in her hometown.
Well,
she's very comfortable.
Yeah, like, we're not there. Yeah, exactly. We're not there to make friends or to be polite or to we'll shake hands, but we're there to do a job. We're there to have a fight, like, and I saw her face, and I think it worked, because every time I saw, I don't know if it was just me, but she seemed quite edgy, the girl, a little bit nervous, and in the first 3 rounds she looked shocked, a little bit shell shocked, because I thought we were going to stop her at one point. We just got a miss, so I think it worked. But it was a great experience. Like, it was great, like I said, it's great for Tysie, do you mean? Like we took a risk in going out there. It's all rounds in the bank, experience in the bank. It's she knows she won the fight. She said, like, it's not like she's had fights previously, like with Nina Hughes, where we walked away going, yeah, that was a bit tight, that fight. She didn't perform too well. Well, she didn't perform at all, I don't think, that night. She showed grit and whatnot, but we walked away going, we need to develop. This fight, we didn't. We walked away going, yeah, world class. We proved tonight that we are at world level, and mentally, physically, do you mean that? She dealt with being the away fight again, going abroad. Tysie's world class, there's no question. And her time will come.
So her stock didn't lower at all?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I think, look, obviously we wanted to win, and if we would have won, we'd have been talking about unification fights next year. Really, not. So
how comes this other woman's never left her country to fight? Like, all her fights have been in France or Douai.
Well, there's a couple of things for that. It's a good question, because the first thing is she's heavily backed financially by which turned out to be the mayor of Douai and maybe some other sponsors and whatnot, because that show and all the defenses of that title cost a lot of money. So they sold 1,000 tickets at 50 euros a pop, or some of them are 25 euros a pop, whatever. That's nothing. They're not making any money, so it didn't make sense. But then when I got there, I realized, oh, okay, these people are backing her. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is the way the mandatories work, so that she's not been set a solid mandatory yet. So that was a voluntary defense of her title. So I believe the next fight will be against Ellie Scottney, where she'll have to come to London. So, but yeah, she's yeah. So, but I've approached the WBO to say, like, look, I just want to look into the scorecards and whatnot, and just have a little look and just see, like, if we can get Tysie next year at some point made mandatory to me. So we're going back and forth at the moment. So I think next year, look, there's no rush. Tysie's in a very good position. She's not a world champion, which would be obviously a better position, but she's a Commonwealth champion. So that means we're not looking and hunting around for an opportunity. We're defending our belt. So our next fight will be in March, and she will defend the Commonwealth title. So there's no rush for anything. So I'll get a defense in March, and I'll get another defense in May, and we'll just kind of keep getting better and better and better. But it's inevitable. I've said to it, it's like, I've nailed on that you'll get another chance. It might not be against that girl, it might be against someone else, but you'll get another chance just because of the way the division is. So she's in a good place. She's in a really good place.
is Ellie Scotney someone you look at? Because obviously she's a world champion. She's from England as well. I
Oh
think
yeah.
similar ages to Tysie. So is that that's a good domestic fight that could be that.
Matchroom told me like literally the week before, go and win the fight, and that's the fight that'll be made. Like, because that's a great fight. They've boxed each other before in the amateurs, and we've sparred many times, and yeah, it's a great fight. Really, that's a great fight. But we wanted to fight her before this fight, but it don't make sense for Ellie to fight us at the moment because she's looking to fight obviously the other world champions. So going to win that belt, if we would have won it, obviously it would have made financial sense. It would have made sense for her. It just would have ticked all the boxes. Matchroom would have loved it because it was two UK based girls fighting in a unification fight. It was perfect, to be honest. But it is what it is. That's life sometimes, isn't it? Really? So it wasn't meant to be. Do you mean? But there's a Mexican girl who's got the WBC title. So before this fight, I was negotiating with them and talking to them about making a fight. So Matchroom put a bid into them to bring that girl here, and they were asking for stupid money. Then they made us an offer to go to Mexico again. I was just laughed at that. But if we can get that girl out of Mexico, I'm never going to Mexico to fight a Mexican. Do you mean? We could. I don't know. We could play around with that again and see. Do you mean? It's going back to that mandatories. You asked about why is that girl been in Due all the time? Well, it's because the mandatories ain't been set. So if we as a manager, you put pressure on the governing bodies to say no, set the mandatory. Let's try and push a mandatory, because then if a mandatory, if that person in Mexico or in Due or wherever it is isn't offering enough money, then it goes to purse bids. And if you've got a promoter behind you, then that's what it is, really. So
yeah, because I didn't realize she was signed by Lee Eaton and that management company.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing because there's a few of them involved. There's like a French team, which is like a boxing club, Due boxing club, and they kind of look after. And then Lee's kind of like, so Lee's involved with everybody. Lee's involved with everyone. So it seems like every fight I try and make, Lee pops up somewhere. Do you mean? So
yeah, I'm sure I've seen Nina Hughes on there as well. He's involved with Nina Hughes as well.
Yeah, he's involved with Nina Hughes. He's got a lot of foreign fighters. He's got loads of fighters, to be honest. He's a good guy. He's cool, actually. But he's definitely a doer. He manages to get stuff done. Do you mean? So it's good to know.
How impressed are you with Tysie's overall growth from when she come to you to all the way till now in that short space of time?
Yeah, she's had to. I'm massively impressed but that's she's had to kind of. Yeah, so the female division, obviously, everyone goes, it's good because they get to move very, very quickly. But that's also a little bit of, well, it's not a little bit, it's a lot of pressure on the girl as well, like, because you go, well, she's had to go from novice pro to like world title contender in the space of 2 years. Now, in the gym, that's all right doing that, physically getting them in that position, but they've got to be physically capable to do it. So there's a lot of pressure. So she dealt with it well, right? So she's listens, she puts everything into place. Like she's solid, man. Really, like she's solid. She's come so far, like physically. Like obviously, you guys know Reese, S&C coach, and physically, she's so fucking strong. It's unreal, like Drina. And she never used to be. And technically, she listens, man. Drina, like, we make a good team, Drina. So, and we proved it last week. Like she can hang at the top level. Well, as a boy, it has to take about 5 years. It takes from like maybe their first fight to if they get to world level. Do you mean they got a lot of time to develop and get better and stronger and fitter and become a solid pro? Do you mean that comes over time? She's had to do it so quickly. Do you mean no, she's solid. No.
So it also kind of comes with its downfalls where you can get pushed quick, but then you can't learn the experience as well. So
exactly that. So like you got like we got many girls who come down to spar with us and all that, and I'm saying to them, look, you can be in a position to fight for this title soon, and they look at me and go like, what? And they've only had 3 fights, and they're like, a panic sets into them. They're like, fuck. And I'm like, well, yeah, because what happens if there's not many girls out there, so who else are you going to fight? So you can't there's literally no other girls to fight. So So they have to be very, very. They have to move very quickly. Like I mean, like in the gym, I mean, like they have to kind of think really, really like every spar, every kind of training camp is set towards becoming a 10 or 10 round fighter. Do you mean? So, so Tysie, if you notice from day one, I never had her in a 4-rounder. So I said, I don't see the point because we're going to have to I knew that in about 5 fights, 6 fights, you're going to be in a 10-rounder. So we ain't got time to mess around with 4-rounders. So I threw her straight into a 6-rounder. And she's never done anything less than that to me. So
does because I know you went on the warm weather camp as well to start the camp off. Is that something? How beneficial is that for the camp? And is that something you want to do kind of with all your fighters now?
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do, like because obviously financially and it's but yeah, it was fantastic to be honest. Like you just want as a coach, you just want time, as much time as you can with them, and you just want to get into their heads as much as possible and try and implement exactly what I'm thinking in them. Do you mean like? And that takes a lot of time. So and trust as well. So although we went out there to get physically fit, which we did obviously, but it was more to spend time with her. That she realised how much I watch boxing as well. I don't stop watching boxing. And we just watched boxing. Literally, we just watched boxing and spoke boxing. I think to the point where she couldn't give a fuck anymore about boxing. But we watched this girl. We're watching her fights. I was going, we're going to watch you. We're watching her, Tysie herself. We're watching her. We're watching the girl. We're watching every fight you can think of, and it worked because we came back and she said, "I'm ready to fight," and I went, "Well, yeah, we've got 8 weeks, but yeah, that's cool." But it's a good thing, of course it is. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's more about the time. It's more about the time spent with the boxer rather than anything else.
Obviously, you got 2 big uns coming up this week. Frankie and Jordan are both on the same card. How has camps been for them, and what's the whole process of that been like?
Yeah, now we're talking like a different kettle of fish now. We got Jordan Reynolds and Frankie Storey. Okay, that's been good. It's been good. Frankie, first of all, is Frankie's an absolute diamond. I mean, he's like a clone of Tysie, really. He's really but a male version. He trains hard, listens. You couldn't ask for a better boxer, to be honest. As in an athlete, that's been good. He's got a tough fight. He's fighting a boy called Daryl Tafuma, I think his name is. And it's a dodgy fight, but it's a fight that I wanted it. It's a test. Like Frankie's next fight will be for a title, and that's near enough, all like kind of done. Like Jermaine, and it could have been this fight, but I said to Frankie, look, I just want one more fight. His last fight was meant to be a bit of a test, and he blasted the guy out in 2 rounds. So, which was great, but it was like I'm in the corner going, "Oh, yeah, that's great, Frank." But fuck, that weren't really the objective. The objective was to get some rounds in and that doing. But anyhow, so this kid's going to give us rounds. There's no doubt about that. He's tough as fuck, this kid, and he's beat a couple of prospects. He's beat an old gym mate of ours. I think it was last year. He's coming. Do you mean? So it's a proper fight. This is Frankie's first proper fight. Do you mean? So. On his record, it don't suggest it, but trust me, they're coming. But he's ready. I can see it. I had him today in the gym, and he's freaking fired up. He's ready to have a fight. Train. So he's all good. And Jordan's mate, yeah, and Jordan, man. Jordan's one of the most talented boys I've ever had, but he's a lunatic. No, that kid he's probably. Well, first of all, Jordan is maybe like he's so talented, it's unreal, to be honest. Like he does stuff to kids in the gym where I think, fuck, like you are really, really good. Do you mean? And he's strong, fast. He's a little bit unorthodox. He's a bit of a weird style, but he's vicious and he's as game as fuck. Like he's game. Like Jordan could have the potential of going beyond British level. He definitely can fight for a British title. There's no question of that. I think even Frankie could as well. Right? Jordan, I don't know. Jordan's got something about him that is he's special, man. Really nice. So, but he's got a tough fight on Saturday. He's got a tough kid. The kid's tough, comes forward swinging. But Jordan's he should be okay. And then next year, Jordan, hopefully, I'm trying behind the scenes, trying my best to try and manipulate something for him during that for next year.
Where? How do you like measure the fighters' sort of ceiling? Like, is it from stuff they do in the gym? Is it from mentality? Is it stuff you actually see on fight night? How do you actually personally measure where you think they can get to?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. First of all, they need to know as well. So you have to be realistic. So you have to tell them exactly where we think we are, and sometimes that's just obvious. Like you look at the rankings, you look at the current champions, like area champions, English champions, and whatnot, and and sometimes you just physically you go and spar with them, and you kind of see where we're at doing that. So and then it's a gauge in a sense of, and then you go, okay, right, this kid can get to Southern area level, this kid can get to British level, English, whatever the level might be. Sometimes they surprise you, sometimes they don't, but I think you can predict. I think I'm good enough to predict if a kid can fight for a British title or not. And that's by watching them in the gym, watching them spar, and just talking to them, being around them, knowing their mindset. And there's a load of things, obviously, that kind of comes together to become a boxer. But above British level, I think it's very hard to predict that. I think it's a lot tougher to predict that. So, like, you got someone like Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn didn't think he was going to go past Southern area level, and then like dominated the middleweight division in the world. So, I think it's hard to kind of go beyond that world level to see, beyond that British level. But yeah. So, but I think you got two boys there, Frankie and Jordan, who I think in their divisions can 100% compete for British titles. And that's you're talking, that's high level. Like, you win a British title in most divisions in this country, it puts you in the top 20 in the world or so. So it's like, it means to win a British title is very significant. So
is that just because the pedigree in England is so high and in the UK and in them divisions?
Exactly. So like if you're comparing it to, say, another lesser boxing country, I don't know, if you're a champion of, I don't know, some random country somewhere, like, or you're the champion of Britain. Champion of Britain is something to me. That's like on par with being nearly, anyway, as like European champion. You got British champion, European world champion. So yeah, the quality is very, very high to me. And they both sparred. So Jordan sparred with Denzel Bentley. I know he lost recently, but Jordan did 3 or 4 spars with Denzel Bentley, so he's a British champion, and we did very well, and we showed that we can hang there for sure. And Frankie went and sparred with Liam Davis a few months back, and again showed he can hang there as well. So we know we're not far off. We're about, it's about, both of them about 18 months off of that, but they're not far off. Right?
And Liam Davis is a big boy, man.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah, I ain't going near him.
Big boy. You wait for that guy to get out of the division, man, and move up to the next weight, man, because he's a big boy at that weight.
Mate, when we walked in the gym, so we went out to Birmingham to spar with him, and I walked in the gym and I thought, that must be his brother, because that looks like him, but he's my height, and he's fighting at super bantamweight, and I thought, fuck, that can't be him. And Frankie looked like a kid next to him, and I thought, oh shit, he's massive, and he was fucking huge, man. But he's very good. He's not just big, he's good. He can punch. He's got long fucking limbs. I think he can go on to world level. I think he's kind of he's just gone straight through the British level, like easy. Like, he's kind of just knocking guys out. I think he will. He'll go onto world level, I think, quite easily. I think, from what I've seen in the gym and obviously in his fights. So yeah, Frankie, I won't let Frankie near him. Don't worry about that.
Obviously, I'm not going to keep you long because you got questions to get on with. We do have a few questions that people actually put in.
Yeah, go on.
I'll let you guess who this one.
Ignore the ones from Jordan.
Why does Tony teach us the Millwall feint in boxing?
Yeah, Jordan.
No, but we got one here. What's Frankie's best attribute?
That's a good question. Frankie's got many attributes. Frankie, I get them all to watch different fighters that I think suit them, and I think Frankie is the one in the gym that can kind of emulate about 3 different boxers. So you can watch Frankie and on different fight nights, and you'll see 3 different styles. Like, now I think my favorite style, although I like him being aggressive, hitting the body, and being a bit of a Ricky Hatton, like he showed in his last fight, you're going to see a little bit different on Saturday. But I like it when he's elusive, and I think one of Frankie's best attributes is being elusive. And a lot of people might find that strange because they think of him being this aggressive kind of come forward fighter, but that's not actually his best game. His best game is not getting hit and spinning and making guys dizzy, and hitting everyone like a little bit of a Lomachenko style. Like,
I love watching him box, man. He moves.
His movement, he flows. That's right. But he's aggressive, and which I like, obviously. Like, but I like it when he's under pressure and he's turning and spinning and making guys miss. And that's when, for me, that's the best Frankie. So I'd say his best attribute is that kind of elusiveness, like, and his footwork. Yeah.
And we got another one here as well. Will there ever be a chance we have a card in Luton with the 3 boxers you have?
Do you know what? We've been so close to doing it. Do you know what the problem is? A venue, like a good venue, because they do it in, I forgot now, so long ago. I remember talking to the venue. I forget what it's called now. The venue, but there's no venue. There's no well, unless I have another look. But if we can find a decent venue,
we're talking about the Dunstable Conference.
That's it. Sorry, that was it. The Dunstable Conference Centre, and it's not that big. I think if we put those 3 guys on, like they could be in title fights. Like Tysie could defend our Commonwealth. Jordan could be in something special. Frankie could be in something special. We'd sell a lot of tickets. Do you mean that? And so we need somewhere that's more like 2,000 people, whereas the Dunstable Conference is like 700 people. It's like don't really make sense.
You don't want to just do it for no reason. It needs to be special and it needs to be big.
It needs to be big. That's right. I do think that if, like, you could do, and everything has to align correctly, like, do you mean, like, but it'd be a shame you couldn't have a show at Luton Town Football Club, right? And I promise you, it could work. But you just need the right headline fight and the right guys all involved. Like, you got your Linus, obviously, Jordan, Frankie, Tysie. Do you mean? I think it'll be. I think it could work, but it has to be for a big, like, British title fight or something. So yeah, I think it could work, but you need a big promoter to do that. Do you know? So
yeah.
But it could work. It could work.
That does get.
If you find another venue, if you find a venue that's 2,000 or 3,000, I'll do it next year. I'll do it. I'll promote it.
I just don't think there is. I don't think there is a venue.
There isn't. There isn't. That's the thing. That I searched. I even got the guys to have a little look. There was a couple of nightclubs and all that, but it was nothing. They weren't big enough. Right?
You have to do it in a field, Millwall style.
Oh, mate, that's a proper fight, mate. The tickets are free. All we do is send out a WhatsApp message.
Tony, it's been thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. It's been
that's my pleasure, guys.
It's been good to get your perspective on a few things as well. Obviously, we speak to the boxers, but actually having you come on and give your opinion from the coach's point of view, I think it's really important for people to hear.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And in future, man, we'd love to have you on a pod because I'd love to dive into how you started fighting and how you come up, and obviously the management side of it. Because obviously the man's he's not all singing and dancing. He's the man of many trades.
Yeah, man, I've got a jack of all trades, mate. That's about it. But no, it'll be my pleasure. I'll do it. We'll do it. I promise you. We'll do it in the new year, right?
Yeah, no, that's wicked, man. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on. Enjoy the rest of your evening and good luck on Saturday.
Sound, guys. Sound, guys. I'll see you Saturday. I'll see you guys Saturday.
Yeah, we'll be down there.
Wicked, man. I'll see you guys Saturday. Yeah.
All right, see you later.
Take care, boys.